1. Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance is a third-person action RPG, developed and published by Cheap Games. The world of Dungeons & Dragons comes to life in an explosive action RPG, full of real-time combat and dynamic cooperative gameplay. Ice giants and vengeful dragons roam unchecked in the Valley of a Cold Wind, while the evil invading armies grow stronger each day. Now, 4 heroes must resist the creature's attack, in defense against the darkness. Choose your hero and gather up to 4 friends to face legendary monsters. Two.
It's your chick.
Chivalry 2 is a first-person multiplayer slasher inspired by epic medieval movie battles, developed by Torn Banner Studios, and publisher Tripwire Interactive. Players are thrown into the action of every iconic moment of the era, from shocking swords, to flaming arrow storms, to castle enclosures and more. Get ready to return to the ultimate medieval battlefield. Sharpen your sword, put on your best armor, fight for glory and become a legend. 3. Outlaws and Legends is an action video game developed by Sumo Newcastle and published by Focus Home Interactive. In a violent and medieval world, facing a cruel and illegitimate state, rebels and rogues from all corners fight to get their place among the legends, defeat rival gangs in intense multiplayer assaults, moving stealthily to steal invisible treasures, or dominating through loud and brutal combat. Only the best will escape with hard-won wealth. Four. Crimson Desert is an upcoming open-world action-adventure developed and published by Pearl Abyss. Through a series of courageous characters and cinematic scenes, Crimson Desert tells the story of mercenaries struggling to survive on the vast continent of Pywell. The game's fighting story takes place in a war-torn medieval fantasy setting that fits the game's slogan, the Written in Blood saga. The main character of the Crimson Desert, Macduff, son of Martinez, leads a small band of mercenaries, but finds himself surrounded by the burdens of leadership and the painful memories of his past. Five. Lost Eitherlands is a turn-based strategy RPG set in a western fantasy world called Artemisia, developed and published by Ocean Drive Studio, Incorporated. Eden is a respectable mercenary in his hometown, Lanetta. When an aristocratic conspiracy causes him to fall from grace, he has no choice but to follow the machinations of fate that will involve him in a plot to overthrow the conquering emperor, Ludovictus. A journey full of moral dilemmas, bitter farewells and emotional betrayal. Eden's journey will force him to discover who he really is on this great stage.
6.
Myth of Empires is a multiplayer sandbox game developed by Angela Game, published by Imperium Interactive Entertainment Limited. Taking place in the 3rd century on the eastern continent, Myth of Empires presents a cruel and brutal era, ravaged by the chaos of war. You will need to fight hunger and face the elements if you want to survive. Explore an immersive and expansive world in which you will collect resources and use your creativity and imagination to build your own empire. Recruit NPCs by peaceful or violent means and make them your own followers. Have them collect resources and turn them into materials for you, or use them as your own personal army.
Seven.
Developer Platinum Games offered a brief update on the development of Babylon's Fall, the action game it's making for Square Enix, assuring fans that the title is still in development. Platinum and Square Enix say they plan to share more about Babylon's Fall as soon as we can. Little is known about the game, but the joint statement says that Babylon's Fall continues to make good progress, with the team working safely from home, and that both companies are committed to providing an exciting experience.
Eight.
Odin Valhalla Rising is a Korean MMORPG developed by Lionheart Studios. The game takes place on 4 different continents, all based on Norse mythology, which includes Midgard, Jotunheim, Nidavellir and Alfheim. The world is inhabited by many monsters and creatures, in addition to humans, elves and giants. But players will not only travel on foot, but also on horseback. Odin Valhalla Rising offers all the traditional MMORPG features like maps, dungeons, instantiated dungeons, boss battles, party system and much more will be seen in the game.
Nine.
Elden Ring is a future action RPG game developed by From Software and published by Bandai Namco Entertainment. Elden Ring is From Software's biggest game to date and takes place in a vast realm steeped in a rich and bloody story created by Hidetaka Miyazaki, creator of the influential and acclaimed video game series Dark Souls, and George R.R. Martin, author of the New York Times best-selling fantasy series, The Chronicles of Ice and Fire. The character that will be controlled by the player will be fully customizable, just as it was in Dark Souls and Bloodborne. The player will be able to have a horse to explore and travel around the world, meeting several enemies along the way. And obviously, the horrendous and difficult bosses will be back.
Ten.
Age of Empires 4 is an upcoming real-time strategy game developed by Relic Entertainment and published by Xbox Game Studios. To start their empires, players will need to explore the world around them to locate essential resources. Using these resources, they'll construct buildings, produce units, and build their economies while battling a flood of enemy raids and attacks. Guide your empire through the ages and, when the time is right, attack your enemies with all the strength of your empire, claiming victory.